Hi.
Hello.
I don't know, how are you feeling first, Cindy?
Well, I gotta go out with the spoilers first. I'm gonna win it, so sorry about that, but it's already decided.
Yeah,
We might as well end the cast here now then.
I've read the script. I mean, it's 4-0 to my understanding.
No,
Juanchi-
a win by 2 touchdowns, because then I get to watch you face off against Juanchi again.
Oh, well, I saw the script. It's like my entire team's all dead. Lynn Windy, he's gone. He's gone. Danny Dance is gone. It's gonna be a real shame when all my players die.
To be fair, if Lynn Windy is gone, your team will only be better.
I disagree with you. Lynn Windy is superior to Danny Dancer in most ways.
I think they've been practicing the bashing talk. I won't say the S word on stream.
This game could easily be a 5-0 win because Hindi constantly fails his pickup rolls. But at the same time, it could easily be 4-0 the other way because my team is all about armor value.
Wait,
7.
why don't I get a 5-0?
All right, yeah, because you can score 5, sure.
I got a movement 9 werewolf.
If I win or draw, I'm happy. If Hindi wins, he's happy. If he wins by 3, Juanchi is happy and I'm not happy. If he wins by 2, Juanchi is okay and I'm slightly nervous. If he wins by 1, I'm still fine.
Okay. Oh, it looks like somehow my mic was muted the whole time. Hopefully it came through. All right. All right. So from Keldergun.
Top quality.
Yes. I don't even know how that happened. All right. So Juanchi. Juanchi is part of the equation a little bit further down and kind of the 3rd place player. So Hindus, could you run me through what are the outcome scenarios here if we laughably consider the possibility it won't just be a 5-0 win for you?
Or me.
Well, if I win, I'm in playoffs, and I will win. So I will be in playoffs, and to be fair, I already was in playoffs week 0, so done deals and such. If I happen to not win and only draw, I am in the Challengers Cup. And if the theoretical possibility that I lose, I'd be out of either and be 3rd in the division.
Oh yeah, it's very unlikely that you'll lose. I don't see it happening.
You can see my job in this cast is going to be to keep Hindus's overblown self-confidence somewhat in check.
No, just
Is
keep
it
bellowing those flames of confidence.
Is it really overblown self-confidence if it comes true?
It won't be if it comes true. It might be a self-fulfilling prophecy. No, I admit you are a good coach. You have a very good track record in the playoffs, and this team is a force to be reckoned with. That I don't dispute. But the hubris has maybe caused some issues in the past.
Just applying a little handicap to myself to make it fair for the other guys in the division.
Fair enough.
And the true overblown confidence would be to say right now that I'm going to win the playoffs, and that I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
I mean, the Sage isn't going to be in the playoffs, so you got a good chance if he isn't in there.
Well, and I must say, in comparison, I'm sitting in the same...
Don't worry, nobody cares about you.
Exactly.
Oh boy, alright. We need to get through this. We need to eventually start the game. So we've got some questions for you guys coming into the game. Which, my first question to both of you guys, start with Calagum, is could you paint a picture for me, a word picture, of one moment that's going to be happening in this next game, in this upcoming game? Give me one moment that's going to be significant that's going to happen.
The WElves is going to make a frenzy. It's going to not get It's not going to get the result it requires on the first one and on the first set of dice. It has to follow up, of course, because of frenzy, and then it snakes a go for it.
Okay. And well, we'll have to see if that one happens. And Hindis, give us a prophecy. What's going to happen specifically in his upcoming game?
Specifically after turn 16, I'm gonna do a cute little victory dance nobody of you gets to see.
Can I let you win? Then you you show me your cute little victory dance.
Well, no.
Oh.
Well, that was fruitful questions. Yes, Wick Spartan, the pre-game chat has already been a disaster.
Hi,
So, also, Fonty, welcome, and Skeletem, and Frazzle Dazzle. Thank you for letting me know my mic was muted, by the way. I just didn't even think to check that. So, Kanuki, I believe you had a question as well for our erstwhile playoffs coaches.
I have the most deeply strategic question to ask in pinpoint analysis, getting into the hearts and minds of the players, is Caldium, what is your favorite bird?
The flying shark kind of a bird. The bird that eats puffins.
What?
I couldn't find a bird that eats puffins, so flying sharks, they eat puffins, I think.
It's because puffins are naturally superior to all other birds and can't be eaten by them.
Except Faroese and Icelanders.
Mm.
Well,
Yes,
are they birds?
Well, they are not birds. So, but okay, Caldium, tell the truth. What is actually your favorite bird?
Toucan.
There you go. All right, and on that note.
Oh, I thought you were going to go somewhere with that.
No. I was just saying that we can get on with the rest of the.
Yes.
Wait, there's actually a Blood Bowl game to play? Who told me that?
We might want to play some Blood Bowl at this point.
Right, so we're going to get out of this room. And so these guys are actually going to stay and talk to each other during the game, which seems an extremely bad idea, but that's what they've chosen to do. We'll be dropping in on them from time to time to hear how that conversation is progressing. But for now, we're going to retire to the commentary booth, and from here we can make our own predictions about this game before, bird facts aside.
Bird facts are the only facts.
So, Kanuki,
Yes.
I'll send the link into the chat as well if anyone else wants to follow along with this. So we've got the layout of the teams. We've got full rosters for each of them. We can see every single part of those teams. How do you think this game for the playoff spot is going to go?
I believe that Hindus does have the team to be able to defeat this Woody team. It's a fine Woody team, but it's a basic Woody team. I'll have to say that.
The biggest if we're talking about Red Tides of Blood, Callaghan's Wood Elven team, you say it's a standard Wood Elven team.
Well,
the point of controversy has got to be the war dancer Lynn Windy.
Yeah, I hate it. I think I've said this on stream before. I hate it. I don't understand it, and I hate it some more. Shadowing is no. It's a big no for me. And I agree with Hindus from the pregame chat that if Lynn Windy decides to depart this world at the hands of a white or a werewolf, then this team improves by at least 100%.
Why is it you hate the sidestep and shadowing werewolf war dancer so much?
Sidestep is fine. I mean, that's perfectly good. But there are so many other good skills you could have, especially if you're going to roll something like Mighty Blow, which you should have by now. Even tackle or I don't know, another strip is fine there. But I don't understand what he's doing with shadowing. He should be trying to run away from players rather than trying to chase them.
We will, of course, update you guys once the match starts up. I'm assuming that they are probably... Oh, actually, they've actually started already, so...
They've scored, no.
Wick Spartan is calling you out, Kanuki. He's calling you out. You're just scared of the power that lies within the shadowing sidestep skill package. You're just too intimidated by its sheer majesty.
Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Spartan was only kidding. I'm a little upset, Spartan, you didn't stick to your guns there.
I would have backed down for sure.
Alright, so before we get into the actual game itself, which will be momentarily, what do you think of the How Good People Turn Evil, the necromantic team? What jumps out to you from there?
I mean, you've got a plus movement wolf. You've got the other one who's got the tackle. He doesn't have any Mighty Blow Wolf, which is a bit of a point of contention, but he's got Blodge on the other one, which is lovely. Got enough guard. He's leveled both fleshies at least to the necessary level that they have to be at this level. And then he has the anti-elf pieces. He's got the wrestle. He doesn't have kick, I don't think, but he's got a dirty player to remove some AV7 at will. And I think he did well in choosing, I believe he took his ghoul rather late in the development of the season, which seems to be a favored approach of many Necro teams.
So, why is that the case then?
Well, because they're going to steal all of the SPP early on, and you can take some bigger risks, especially in development style format, whether it's Greenhorn or once we have action already.
Oh, it's only the second block of the game, and already Tommy Shooter Chicks is dead and raised again. Well,
playing for the other team.
That is devastating, because we thought fouling would be one of the ways that How Good People Turn Evil took control of the match. Now they've got another piece to do it with, and the Wood Elves have one less piece to stay alive with.
Precisely, that's a 2-player swing just in one quick maneuver. And if the Wood Elves go down further, they'll be, facing some challenges keeping enough players to, mount an offense or even to defend the rest of this half. Okay, so we need to update the old. Oh, there you go. Already done.
Yep, Tommy Shooter Chicks joining the opposite team. I mean, that's a pretty inauspicious way to start off a match for the playoffs, to have one of your players literally switch sides. I don't think that's possible under any other circumstances.
I don't believe so, except with the Necro raised dead. Oh my goodness. What is going on?
What? Okay.
Instant Apo on alignment. I don't like it.
No, I isn't the Necromancer only once per game anyway?
Yeah, it is. So he can only. That's my understanding of the rule, that he can't. He wouldn't have, of course, gained another player, but apparently at this stage, Caldigum has already decided that he needs to stem the flow of player loss. But whether that was the important piece, a block lineman at least, but still a lineman when he's got so many other important players to keep protected. So far, Hindus's bravado in promising death and destruction and a clear win is looking pretty good. And will we still see a foul? Probably not with this cage.
Okay, SkyTelem is confirming for us that yes, it's only one resurrection per game, I guess.
Thanks, SkyTelem. Yeah, that was my understanding as well.
Okay, so let's take a little check-in on the inducements. So Hindi actually came to this one with the slight disadvantage, and I think they also cashed in. Oh, holy moly! To get a wizard, though it stopped showing up on my screen for whatever reason. Betrayal, badly hurt, and out of here.
Yeah, no regen there, and the violence has been frothy.
That's a good way to put it. Oh, interesting. SkyTelem can get more after the game. Really?
Okay. Nurgle can get more. They can inherit players that were killed after the game. I can't. Yeah, so it works. Yeah, it works a bit differently with Necro and Nurgle, but not having played either, I'm not that precisely sure on the specific rules on how it works.
Okay, so back to the game itself. So we've had, well, I guess 2 deaths, 1.5 deaths so far. Lynn Windy, of course, favoured of Kanuki. Now, only one SVP from leveling, but only one death from being removed from Kanuki's life forever.
And with the Apo gone, I see Elf Pain in the future. That one removal takes it down to basically a one-player swing from a two-player swing that it was earlier. But Hindus won't mind. He'll still be up. He'll still have 2 Zombos to come back on the next drive.
Let's see. So, Llewellyn Thomas is actually out, so let's put them into reserve. So, 9 active players against 10. Let's see. Oops, excuse me. I must forget to correctly alt tab out there. Making sure that our team values are. Let's see. Some. Yes, okay. I just realised that those were not correct at all. There we go. 1380 on the pitches. Holy moly!
Oh man! And the hits just keep on coming, folks. There's Owen Tomos down, only badly hurt, but that's gonna be another player that's just not coming back this game.
Hey Shinsuke, welcome to the stream. Yes, Mr. Frazzled Lads, regeneration is a fake skill. So in that respect, the Wood Elves, they've kind of got parity with the Necromantic team now, and that, you know, regeneration never works. Apothecary, well, when you've got no Apothecary, that never works either.
Well, I think technically we have a 50% chance to come back versus a 0% chance to come back. But yes, if you take the position that regen is a fake skill, then it is an even 0% for both teams. We'll see how that goes.
So Caldagum, they've spread out their 2 War Dancers onto each flank. It looks like they're actually trying to go for an envelopment, which is a bold strategy when you're down in player numbers.
Yeah, and the only thing I can think is that he would be trying to go bold at this point, go big or go home. But it doesn't really matter because the main weapon he would have would be a War Dancer Leap and Strip. And of course, Hindus is wisely carrying on his Sure Hands Ghoul.
Well, I mean, at the same time, Danny Dancer does have tackle, so you've got 3 dice. You've got a 50% chance not to get a hit and that's going to do it, but it's not going to be the tackle.
Not going to be able to get a 1-die hit even with the way that Hindus is playing the anti-leap cage and having guard on 2 sides of the ball carrier.
Oh yes, of course, I didn't notice. Yes, so the 2 places, in fact all 3 places you could jump into to make a hit are all covered by the 2 whites with guard. As oh, hello, Diabolism gets stunned. My armor is way to paper this game.
Yeah. Everyone's armor is made of paper, but you expect that more with the AV7, AV8 team.
So you mentioned before how the ghouls, yeah, if we're talking about AV7, Toilet Humor the Ghoul is 3 SVP from leveling, but does have armor value 7. So
yeah.
It's much, it's still possible they could get clobbered and taken out in a more permanent fashion.
I think he's going to protect him fairly well and score him. He could even score early on this drive. If he gets enough removals, I would say. And that will be, developing that piece will be key to whatever playoff drive Hindus has aspirations for.
So let's just catch up for anyone who's dropping into the stream a little bit late on. So this is the game for the playoff spots, in that, to run through the various scenarios here. So if Caldegon wins or draws this game, no matter how few of their pieces remain intact, they will be going to the playoffs. If they lose by 1, they're guaranteed the Challenger Cup. If they lose by 2, they'll have to play a friendly match with third place Huanchi to get into Challenger Cup. And if they lose by 3, then it means they will drop down and they will get nothing.
Yeah, and I'm experiencing similar kinds of calculations for my own Playins C game tomorrow, which I can plug if I may.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're going with Eliod, and I'm sure he'll be streaming it on his channel at 12 UTC, noon UTC, so that'll be 1 p.m. UK time. and a bit later for the rest of the EU. And in my scenario, despite having the same record as Hindus, I'm in 3rd spot and require beating Eliod, who has neither drawn nor lost a game all season, in order to get the Challengers Cup. If I want to win playoffs, I have to beat him by 3 touchdowns, which I'm sure will be easy.
Well,
and we had a very spicy game yesterday with Kungsion beating the Underworld 7-0 in the same division.
Okay, so it's still possible.
Yeah, and Kungsion was my 5E division mate, so I just need to channel some of that 5E energy and hope. But anyway, back to this game.
So yes. So we're left in a more or less a similar situation to before. We've got the guard covering the piece from both sides. Let's see, is there any space that's not covered? No. It's all good. Yeah, very, very nice coverage there. So yes, Huanchi, if Hindu loses this game here by 1 or more touchdowns, then they do drop into 3rd place. So their place in the talking about playoffs, it's so strange for Hindi particularly to be in a position where if they win, they go to the playoffs. If they lose, they don't get anything at all, and not even Challenger Cup.
Yeah. It's a hard one, and what I'm familiar with. Not quite the same situation, but quite similar actually. And but I think Hindus has enough, and from what we've seen on the pitch so far, the game is well in control. We have a knockdown on the guard white, and there is some way into the ball, but I don't think there's really going to be a hit. At least he's got the guard down, so there is a spot where you could leap and get a 1-die there.
Okay, actually, since we're having a little bit of a lull here, why don't we jump into the other channel and hear what our coaches are talking about for a few seconds, just to see if they're saying anything fun.
Let's do.
Hello.
Hello.
Looks like we got
Don't mind us.
company.
Yeah, we're just contemplating whether to leave or not.
I'd say we got off to quite an explosive start. So.
We were finding that quite entertaining, and we were also expecting that we might be seeing a leap here.
I mean, at least now one of Caldagam's players gets to go to the playoffs.
All right, Kanuki, we've got to make sure we don't coach these guys.
No,
anyway.
of course.
So we're not going to mention any moves that could be made. We just want to see.
I only said it because of it had
it.
already been mentioned by Caldagam.
Oh.
Not good enough.
No, it isn't good enough. But that certainly is.
Oh.
Now, where does it go? Yeah,
Good boy. That's the best boy.
All right, we'll leave you guys to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, he chose a good time to go in there.
Yeah, that was quite a spicy moment, and I almost got caught or falsely accused of coaching and bias.
I know I'm being like overly because you're right.
Yeah,
of course. It's
of course.
arguably like it's fine, but I tend to err on the side of like.
Yeah, normally I do too, and that was potentially risky, but I only had mentioned it because Caldagam had already said that was at least the plan or thought he had. But we did see it, and it did go into by clearing. That was key, that he needed to clear that white off and get the guard down, and was able to, after a reroll, get the block and the sack. But of course, none of those squares were likely to be recoverable, and the most likely option almost was that it goes straight back into the hands of the Necro, which it did.
Yes, it's unfortunate. I mean, I guess the best case scenario would have been maybe scattering it onto where the white is, so that it could then go to the WElves, but that was...
Possibly, yeah. And we have another... Well, that was going to be a big hit on a rather well-developed player. The movement bust is a bit bad for old Tim, and now he'll be sitting out at least the rest of this drive.
Yeah, so Tarzan Tim with sidestep and diving tackle did, it's an aggressive approach and certainly did not do so well for them before.
No, it can work, but if you're facing teams, and the further you go in terms of development, if you face teams with a lot of tackle, that's not going to stop them when you're only strength 2.
Okay, so we've got Hindi trying to get in a few more hits. The sidestep of Lin Windy will allow him to get next to the ball carrier. Bad plays working the werewolf. But that might be a pretty dangerous place to be right now.
Was it a bad play working?
I think it could be. I think we might be
Well,
just about to see one.
Now he's still got the hit from... Now there's no tackle on the War Dancer.
The blitz hasn't been used yet, has it?
Don't think so, and that's not getting him down, and it's another sidestep. He can sidestep further alongside the ball carrier wolf, which might force... Yeah, he's going to try and fill some gaps here probably to make sure that there's no baseball carrier at the end of this action. It's not too dangerous to dodge away with the dodge werewolf, but he's not likely too safe in many places, so he really wants that War Dancer down.
Here we go. Yeah, and the tackle is good.
Tackle
Lin
gets
Windy
him.
Drops and will be stunned as well.
Just
so
a
that frees
stun.
up the ball carrier.
Do we see a dodge out for any foul action? I don't think so.
So the next question is going to be, where does bad plays working go? As a movement 9 werewolf, you know, they can pretty much go wherever they please.
Exactly. He can easily move back. The War Dancer might have some range on him, and now that the ball is on a non-sure hands player, there's a bit more danger. But he's surrounding him well, keeping the War Dancer rather pinned, and there's not going to be much in the way of assistance. So we're looking at, again, likely red dice, or I can't see a way to manufacture an easy 1-die hit.
No, so let's see. So for the strip ball, they're going to need to get a push or a defender stumbles to get the strip ball off, even a player who doesn't have sure hands.
It's not so bad when you're talking about a tackle piece with strip against a non-sure hands player. So it's only a skull that is actual turnover failure. And there are many dice in there that get you the ball. So a red die hit isn't the worst option.
So let's see. Death Spider is learning to play WElves after some controversial stuff in the league, going away from your Chaos Dwarves, now to learn to deal with these werewolves. Yes, well, I mean, this game, I think, right now, I suspect isn't necessarily that unusual from a necromantic WElves perspective.
No, and having switched from Evil Chaos to elves of a different flavor myself this season, we see a failed leap there. The player advantage or disparity on the field isn't always as critical for the elves. They are able to do things like this with very few players, but the recovery is always going to be a bit chancy when you're talking about a cage this deep with most of the Wood Elves spread in the backfield.
Yes, well, there's a chance now to move down and maybe get some bodies around that ball, as the failed pickup from Violent Video Games there on a 1, needing a 4, has left the ball not... I mean, I kind of feel like any of these spaces around the outside would have been better for the Wood Elves, but it's certainly not impossible to mark up, if not necessarily get a hold of.
Yeah, well, you're talking about a ball that's in now 3 tackle zones for... Yeah, so it's a very unlikely pickup, plus you're having to dodge in because the other War Dancer that might have potentially been able to leap out and then dodge out on a 3+2+ is out of the picture for now, and likely getting fouled by the wrestle zombie next turn if the ball recovery goes well for the Necro.
You know, Tommy Shooter Chicks joining the necromantic team as a zombie, you have to imagine that Hindi is going to take a great amount of pleasure in fouling their former teammates with their former teammate.
Yeah, I think that will be the little pièce de résistance and icing on the cake and cherry on top and everything for Hindus and rubbing salt into the grain and all of the other idioms that I can think of. Which I'm sure they're going at it in the other channel, teasing that result, that how sweet it will be when I kill your player who has a stupid skill like shadowing with your own player.
Yes, it's a rare and wonderful thing. As we are seeing the WElves, as much as they were trying to spread around before, they are fully committing to it now. They've actually got more players in the necromantic half of the pitch than they do have in their own.
Which, this could backfire. I could easily see a removed War Dancer, Dandy Dancer is in a bit of trouble, and it's not too much trouble, of course, to get the catcher, Magnus Allen Jr. off the ball, and then fairly simple recovery. Not finding the damage, at least on the War Dancer, but he's pushing him straight into the Flesh Golem, so nothing is safe at this point. But he's going to want to prioritize making the ball a bit safer and clearing off those additional elves that are threatening or trying to threaten. No takedowns, at least, on any of them.
Matthias Leafy Pine surviving that last encounter, remaining in roughly the air of the ball. Notable that Caldegon, the WElven coach, with just one reroll left at this point, whereas for Hindi, they've managed to hold on to all three of theirs. The pickup may not be too difficult.
You kind of expect that with WElves in this situation. They're going to want to try to pressure the ball, which is about their only strategy to stop Hindus from scoring on this drive and potentially winning the game for them. So you're going to commit those rerolls to the sacks and the failed leaps when you're jumping in. So interesting. We might be seeing the Ghoul picking the ball up again just to keep the ball on a safe hands player, possibly running away. But no, it looks like he'll be caging up still in the Necro half.
So there's 3 more turns after this for Hindi to get their score in. It's noted Lin Windy. Oh, but the ball does get actually advanced to be right next to Danny Dancer, who notably doesn't have sidestep or shadowing to be able to stay in contact. Presumably going to get pushed out to the space further out.
It's not quite a 3-die, is it? No.
Let's see. 4, 5, 6.
Oh, it is a 3-die, yeah. So that's why that move is made. Oh, of course, with the extra strength, it is a 3-die, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we've got 2 War Dancers on the floor. We've got 2 Elven players in the way of just walking the ball up to the end zone.
Yep. And you also have key players like the Thrower, based against 2 tackle pieces. Yeah, as you mentioned, Lin Windy flat on his back and not really able to influence the play much this turn. And another key player, the catcher, at least with Blodge, but still based up against... Oh, there he goes. We're still seeing some action on the other side. And is there going to be another attempt on the ball with the stripper? No.
Okay, both War Dancers up to the feet, and going around the back of the cage rather than the front, there seems to be perhaps a change of focus from Caldegun here, away from full-on ball carrier clobbering action to more, maybe piece removal?
I can't see, with the players he has on the pitch, that piece removal and basing the entire Necro team is necessarily the best strategy. I might have fallen back and just elf screened at this point a bit, but you had committed to that previous play, as you said, half of his team or more. Oh, and that'll be the last. Nope, that's not the last reroll.
Juan Sancho, the famous, I believe I'm correct in thinking, the famous former treeman, going to join his family in
Indeed.
amongst the grass.
Planting roots.
There we go. It's, you know, as one gets older and becomes more tree-like, you spend more and more time rooted in the ground. For this time being, Juan Sancho just gonna spend a couple of turns down there, chewing on the grass. As the Necromantic team take advantage of the opportunity to clobber elves, or as many elves as possible. It looks like Matthias Leafy Pine will survive the experience at least.
Yeah, and it's fairly easy, I would say, for the Necro to get away and cage up on their left flank at this point. Don't remember which perspective you're looking at it from. The opposite
Necro
perspective.
on the bottom.
Yep, alright.
Though I suppose at this point there's Necro kind of just in the middle. But certainly advancing towards the top.
Necro everywhere.
They really are. I mean, we've got still losing to kill teams with the tackle, who I presume is going to get a chance. Maybe take a crack at one of these war dancers. We've got a based Lynn Windy next to Bad Plays Working, who I presume is going to get hit a couple of times as well.
Yeah. If I'm Hindus at this point, I'm fairly confident in the score, and I'm quite happy prioritizing at least this turn for removing some soft AV7 targets.
Let's see, so who's that going to be? Paul Spike Milligan is a potentially high impact player with guard and nothing else, so
Yeah.
particularly vulnerable piece.
And the thrower's already down, and Frankie Sancho, the brother, I'm presuming, of Juan, joining him in grass blade proximity. And yeah, as predicted, the Necro were able to form, I guess that's a cage of some description, but failed dodge, I think we're seeing here.
Ooh.
And shadowing able to come into play. Okay, I'm gonna have to eat my words.
Eat the words like the Sanchos eat that grass. Oh
Yeah,
boy.
so we had the double twos for the dodge failure, and followed by double threes on the shadowing play, and a 1 and a 2 on the armor break. So not breaking armor, but it's a bit of an unfortunate dodge failure there from Bad Plays Working, which was probably just a good play failing.
Yes, I mean, I feel like Hindies definitely set themselves up with a lot of names that can be quite easily turned into cruel jokes at their expense. But I mean, oh, there we go, Spartans, suck it. I mean, that's
Live by the sword, die by the sword, as they say.
Though, to be fair, I think they might be directing that towards you and your hatred of sidestep as shadowing. Exciting stuff, of course.
That's fair.
In the new edition, I think they've made shadowing actually worse, if memory serves.
Yeah, I think there was a pretty big nerf to shadowing, which gives you question. I haven't really followed the rules. My view is I'll wait till it's official and there is another Blood Bowl game that we can actually play before I spend too much of my effort on it. But yeah, I think shadowing gets a nerf and passing is very much different. But I'm hoping still there'll be some fun elf passing teams, whether it's the high elves or the pro elves, or the high elves not even appearing in this film yet.
Yes. Well, I mean, this, as much as passing is definitely going to become something which is a little bit more specialized, certainly in this game, I mean, as much as Callaghan's been able to get the ball on the pitch a number of times, they haven't been able to actually physically hold of the ball. As a 2-die block on the violent video games from Frank Sancho. Revenge of the Ents?
Nothing.
Okay.
Yep. And I think there's still a fairly safe cage for the Necro. Probably Caldigum saving his last reroll. Well, there's two options. Either for the one last hero sack leap attempt, or for a 1 turn. And with 2 players already off the pitch, 1 KO roll to come, whether he'll even have the players to be able to mount much of a 1 turn is a bit of a question, especially with the player that should be making such attempts, his catcher Tarzan Tim, with the sprint, but the minus movement kind of invalidating a lot of that functionality.
Yes, that's particularly painful. I hadn't even noticed that was the case. It literally, yes, just makes them lose out at least part of that functionality. So Necromantic team, they are advancing a little bit. Yeah, the big question is, do we see the score this turn? It's looking like with more and more with each passing move, this is not going to be the case.
No, I think he'll wait till turn 8, and he'll just run it in with the Ghoul, which gives Caldium the choice whether he thinks a Hail Mary. I think we're going to have, an anti-leap cage. Unfortunately, not possible to get as much guard around. Ooh, we do see finally a reroll from Hindus here. So I think he just wants guard next to the ball, at least on one side, guarding the back 2 leap spots to make that as difficult as possible.
This is the guard line who's getting pushed away, which I'm not sure that Callaghan's super upset by.
No, I think the violence level is definitely toned down from what we saw in the first 2 turns, especially. Oh, and that... oh,
damn!
That boy can't dodge.
No. Wait, was that another... No, that wasn't another shadowing, sadly.
No, there was no shadowing, but it was a straight snake on the dodge.
Okay, that's a big player to not have as part of the next conversation.
Yeah, but at this point he was not critical to the final operation of the score, I don't think. But yeah, you'd like to have him, of course.
Okay, I think.
But now he's a safety.
This is a good time. I think this is a good time. We need to drop back into the coaches chat.
Let's do it for the last. Hello.
Yeah,
hey guys.
Hello there.
we have another leap incoming. This is more out of desperation, and it's a 1.
No spoilers.
Oh!
Aye, he makes it.
Alright.
But yeah, just trying to make it as hard as possible, I guess. Good job, sure hands.
That's why I picked it, specifically for our matchup here.
I had kind of assumed that would be the case, actually.
Well,
Alright, well, now you're depressed. It's time to
No, we did wonder whether the reroll might be risked here rather than for a potential turn 8, but we'll go back and let you guys see how the rest of the half turn plays out.
Nice.
Alrighty.
And some more failed dodges, this time from the elves.
Oh boy, I feel like someone's pre-greased this Playins pitch because it's pretty bad. And there's also so at this point, Frank Sancho, erstwhile Tree Man, is the only thing stopping Hindi from running in this touchdown.
Absolutely, and that will be a 3 dice rather easily, and several 3 dice potentially, but it's going to require at least a push into the next one.
Toilet humor.
Whether he takes this on turn 8 with 2 rerolls or just goes ahead and scores, he does, because damage is fairly easy for Hindus to inflict at this point. But
So,
I would... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, for anyone who's come into this who hasn't necessarily followed Hindi's play before, they're, as you mentioned, they are a very good coach. Of course, both of our coaches are. They've made it to, to the last part of the Playins. But they are known for taking risks that perhaps they don't need to take, just to show off, just to, to really send a message to their opponent. It's hard to say for sure. But if we don't see something like that this game, I'd be surprised.
That's a big removal potentially. Yeah, we did hear from Hindus before in the pre-game show that mind games were going to be important, and yeah, I would be interested to see how it would be affecting Caldium in the other channel. Also, the plays speaking for themselves, and here we just see the Ghoul going in and taking it 1-0 toilet humor for how good people turn evil.
Actually, this is it seems too good an opportunity to miss. Let's quickly jump back in and get a couple of words from them at the halfway mark. All right, guys. So we've got to the halfway mark of the match. Just a couple of words from each of you on how the match is going.
There is a one-turn touchdown time.
Oh, in that case,
So-
I apologise.
Hold on for that, but you can stay here if you want to. If Hindi is fine with it.
I mean, they both don't know how to one turn anyway, so.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll pop back in once the turn is coming to a close, and we'll get back into it there. So,
All right.
good luck. So, apologies, guys. I think got a little bit premature with a.
Well, it would have been interesting to follow. Yeah, but doing a one turn is difficult enough without someone else in your ear, especially 3 people in your ear.
Yes.
And
right.
we can see definitely an anti one turn touchdown setup, a classic one from the Necro in Hindus here. Whether sidestep is enough to counter that, I am not so sure, especially with nine players on the pitch. Yeah, 9.
Yes, so let's update the thing. So we've got, at the moment, for the Wood Elves, 1 player dead, 1 player badly hurt, and 1 player KO'd. The reserves have arrived, so that's going to be Llewellyn Thomas, the catcher, coming in, and Zach Smith, the, I believe, block lineman, who is... there they are. So that's 8 players. Oh, actually, there was 2 KOs, wasn't there? So, Tarzan Tim...
Yeah, Magnus Allen, the catcher, is also still out, and that would be pretty critical for this one-turn attempt, because that's his only catcher that has the full movement and sprint.
Yes, most unfortunate. Yes, if you're going to have 1 player KO'd, then that's definitely the worst one. So Tarzan Tim returns us?
No, he does have the 3rd catcher, I forgot. Yeah, Llewellyn Thomas, so that would be another potential there.
So, okay, so if we're looking at a anti-one-turn touchdown cage, what needs to happen for Caldegun for this to work?
5+ dodges through tackle, basically, or leap. So the unfortunate thing is the zombie is the only target for the push target, because the 2 other corners of the line of scrimmage have stand firm. The advantage that the Wood Elves have is that they can leap in to the back, but you'd want to be leaping in where you could get some kind of a decent hit on the ball, and then with guard sort of pinning the 2 outer squares of that, leaving only the inner third, you have to get to that one before you face any no guard, but then you're still facing a wall of 3 players, making it red dice all the way, if not even 3 red dice against the zombie. So getting any kind of hit that would be able to push your player forward is difficult in any circumstance. And he's taken the guard away, actually, his own guard away from the front, which makes it even worse.
Skyslem was saying that Caldegun needed to be hoping for a quick snap here to get that 1 extra movement. And it looks like for Tarzan Tim, they have been pushed into the opposing half, as there is a successful catch there for Spike Milligan, so that's 1 less dice roll for a re-roll-less Caldegun.
Yeah, it's interesting him going with Tarzan Tim, who is, of course, we've mentioned the move busted one, so he still needs an additional... He would have been only requiring 1 push if it had been... if he'd been able to move Llewellyn Thomas over to a similar position. But 2 pushes will be needed to get Tarzan Tim into a position to 1 turn here. And I just don't see where those pushes are coming from this setup.
No, I mean, you'd imagine you'd need to kind of get somewhere like, somewhere next to Diabolism or next to Necromancer, get pushed into the cage, and then you can.
It's not happening. The fact that he retreated his players tells me that he's not going to take those hits. I don't see how he can manufacture it, but he has got sidestep. So, and it does look like he thinks he's found a way. So I'd be interested to see how he gets these two pushes.
Let's see.
With you can push now with the zombie, but then you need to where you find your blitz to blitz the zombie. Yeah, you can then blitz or push the zombie into it. Actually, it's not so hard.
Wait, so
you can come through and hit the zombie. No, you can't hit the zombie into it. You have to fill the 2 squares.
If you hit the violent video games, you could push them up, and then you'd be able to get the sideways push to push it 1 more square forward.
Yeah, you could do that, but it might be easier just to come in and hit the zombie and push him. But that's your blitz. So then
if the zombie was hit into Tim, wouldn't that just send them sideways, or am I missing something?
The zombie was hit into Tim. He has sidestep, so then he can choose where to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Callaghan must have a worked out play here.
I can only see one push now, and it's not. This is not it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not the best one-turn coach in the world, but that was there's no one-turn on now.
That was odd. Yeah, I don't know what the idea was there. I suppose we'll get to ask Callaghan what they were going for, since we are finally getting close to the
Yeah, he might have just been prioritizing keeping his players alive and not risking the one turn, because it's very possible that we would see leaps into killing yourself or red dice into skulls that would eat into whatever players Callaghan is going to have left for the second half when he's going to need to attack.
Well, now it is half time. Let's quickly jump in and see what our coaches think. Hey guys.
Move the wrong piece.
So now, okay, so that was an actual mistake. It wasn't a plan we just couldn't figure out.
No, he had it if he rolled the dice and moved the right pieces.
Yeah. So 2 mistakes. Mistake number 1, I moved the wrong catcher into the scoring position. I moved the down one. Then mistake number 2, because it was still doable, was I then moved the catcher who was going to eventually have to do the final block
push.
Forward. So yeah, I thought I'll just get a pass in, get the guard, and then what happens.
Good insight into the minds of the coaches. Thank you both.
Right, so coming into the second half, could we get a word from each of you as to how the second half is going to go?
I'm gonna win it.
Okay.
By how many touchdowns in this?
I mean, the goal is the clean 2-0 here.
Yeah, that's his goal. I mean, Hindy's gonna win. Hindy's gonna win it. I can agree more. I think it's gonna be. Hopefully, it'll be 2-1.
All right. We'll catch up with you guys in a little bit then. Good luck. All right. So there we have it.
So there was a plan, and I could almost see what he was going for, but after he had, I guess it was the additional catcher that he had moved that confused where he was going to get the second push after the blitz from.
Yeah, so this will be a lesson to all of you erstwhile Wood Elven coaches. I think you probably need to sit down and work out this kind of stuff ahead of time, because trying to figure out something this complex, because you don't know exactly how the other person's going to set up. Trying to do that in the moment, under pressure, feels like it's just a nightmare.
And it was a very difficult setup to face with the formation that he had set up was classic. The guardie had to be able to protect the piece that needed to potentially get pushed. And then, as we said, moving the movement 7 piece in was a bit of a confusing choice, but SkyTellum was caught it in chat that once he moved the catcher, that was over for him. The other push was gone.
So I did notice actually there's a zombie that hasn't been accounted for, which is Top Banana, who's currently in the reserves because Tommy Shooter Chicks, in their new undead form, has joined the team. So exciting stuff.
All right.
And let me just update the sheet with those in there. There we go. So I believe it's going to be about 1500 TV worth of Necromantic on the team against 1380. Did we see Magnus Allen coming back in? Oh, we did.
He's back on the pitch. I'll take this opportunity to go put some more Gatorade in my cup, and I'll be right back.
All right. So, guys, do remember, as a result of this game, all Caldegum needs to do is draw the match. If they can do that, they're headed to the playoffs. For Hindi, they have to win. So for Caldegum, now receiving from the Necromantic squad, this is very much do or die time. I guess a lot of this is going to revolve around how much of Caldegum's team is Caldegum willing to sacrifice to maybe try and delay a score for as long as possible. It's going to be tricky. There's 10 players against 11. The numbers favouring the Necromantic squad as the kick comes in, and I think it's just a... Let's see, a quick snap. So it's going to let the Wood Elven team just scoot around a little bit, and maybe, just maybe, they could move their players further forward if they were inclined to. I don't know if they are, is the question. And it's quite a big question coming to this half. What is Caldegum's strategy? Are they going to try and go for the draw, which, from their point of view, is a win? Or will they try and win the game outright, which would necessitate, most likely, trying to go for a relatively quick score?
It's a bit of a crapshoot. I think on paper, when you've got most of your players back, since you got the KO back, you've got a reasonably good chance to hold on and score late. But then Hindus is going to have a field day just picking through his players. So a quick score, and then hoping you don't have to commit any rerolls, and then having those rerolls to be able to turn over the Necro is another viable option. But I wouldn't know what to pick, actually, honestly.
I think so. Something which you haven't talked about yet, which I don't know if it's turning up for you, but I'm certain it's there because there's a space for it on the UI, but it's not coming up. Is that I believe Hindi still has a wizard.
Yeah, there's a gap in my UI as well, and that is there for the wizard. Well, that changes things. So then I would quick score definitely then as elves, and do it in a position where you score on a throw where there's no chance for a wizard, because he's not going to bolt your thrower who is deep. The thrower has at least accurate and the pass skill. The catcher, if you get two catchers in range, you can only blitz one, and you have to mark the others then with tackle and many other things. But yeah, it looks like he's going for the quick score, getting multiple scoring threats with probably all three catchers downfield. And then, because it would be a waste of the wizard to use it on the throw and there's no ball recovery for the Necro, he might just accept the quick score and save the wizard for another opportune moment on another drive.
SkyTellum had a really good point, calling back to earlier on in the match, which was Caldegum, eye-openingly enough, decided to apothecary a rookie lineman. So, yeah, that does mean that every elf life is expendable here. As the pickup done with the War Dancer rather than with the Thrower. I'm kind of curious what that's going to mean.
I'm not sure. Is that just an anti-wizard strategy? Is it... He's trying to keep two players back in case there is a wizard and keep them both out of range. So if there's a wizard on one, there will be available pickup in case of a deep ball carrier getting knocked out. I would do it the other way because war dancers are a bit more expensive than throwers.
Okay, so Surveillian has an interesting point of view. So they would play for the draw. Callum can switch to stall if needed, assuming that he plays his cards right and gets a semi-favorable dice. This assumes no major width interference though, which is somewhat unlikely. I think you're right that this particular formation is in response to that possibility of a wizard as their dodge fails. But they're just that.
Yeah, this is going to be able to put some pressure. At least I would want to see as a Necro coach a wolf in both halves of the field. And we're going to probably see losing to kill teams moving up to put some pressure on the ball. And then the other bad plays working, either blitzing one of the targets or just staying as a bit of a safety piece. But we are going to see tackle marks on 2 of the potential scoring threats, so that negates any dodge potentialities.
Does leave Llewellyn Thomas currently unskilled, but with catch and dodge up and alive, covered by Paul Spike Milligan with guard there.
Yeah, but that might still potentially be a blitz target if you can get an assist or guard around, but I don't necessarily see that white coming and making actually not a bad play, because you could push that. Oh, he's just going to go in. Oh, of course he's strength 2, so you don't need any assists. What am I thinking? But no tackle on this wolf means it's no bueno.
Okay. Does at least push Llewellyn Thomas back to back with Tarzan Tim, which presumably means these players are about to get surrounded.
And there now is essentially at least tackle on one of the squares that Llewellyn Thomas would have to potentially dodge out of, because he's not going to dodge straight through, although out of tackle that might actually be the smarter play.
Yes. Dodge next to the wolf and then away.
Dodge next to the wolf and away that way, yeah. But he can still potentially bring losing to kill teams around for a further screen in behind and just ignore the pressure on the ball. I might be still tempted to send the other wolf forward and stop him from being able to stall out.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
What do I know?
Well, it all comes down to next turn. That's when we'll find our answers, because presumably either Caldegum doesn't push forward in that turn and lets the catchers get mulched in the backfield of the Necromantic team, which feels, I would say risky, feels like a quick way to have no one to receive that ball, or they just go for it anyway and hope the dice favour them.
Yeah, and this is where, as a pro elf coach, I am laughing a bit more confidently because I have nerves of steel, and I don't mind tossing to players who are in screens if there's any chance of a 3+2+ dodge out with dodge. Those dice don't quite exist for being double screened. Most of, actually all of the potential threats, except the guard lino, which doesn't have catch, are double marked or even triple marked.
So
let's go ahead.
Also, the line of between the potential ball throwers and the catchers is covered in most respects. Trying to see if there's maybe a line through, because certainly Magnus Allen Jr. is triple marked, so I don't think they're getting the ball anytime soon.
No.
But we do have Tarzan Tim, who's only got 2 marks, and it's the same for Llewellyn Thomas, so they seem like the obvious targets if you're going to try and get the ball to someone.
Yeah, 2 marks is better than 3, I suppose, and there's really no blitz out or blitz off options that I can see with the players that he has available. But we do have, oh, well, there is a blitz off. There you go. So that takes care of the tackle, which is key.
Clunk. This could... I'm trying to see if this would...
Was that a 1 dice?
Yeah,
No.
that's what I was looking for. If the... Let's see. So Limwindy doesn't decide to go further forward. It's going to be a handoff to the catcher. Matthias Leafy Pine received the ball on a 6. So they've got the accurate.
So it looks like we're going to see a throw to Tarzan Tim, I would assume.
Over the
but
head
there's
of losing the kill team.
over the head of a werewolf, which is going to be a thing.
An unmarked.
I don't see how you can. Yeah, and I don't see how you can avoid that intercept possibility.
I was trying to look and see if there was maybe a way to get round the left side, but I think the furthest you could go is there, and then you'd have a harder pass but a less able interceptor.
I've seen flesh golems intercept before this season, so I wouldn't count them out either.
I mean, someone's going to intercept.
It's still just a 6, right? Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be... Oh, across the zombie, of course. Yeah, the zombie is the least able, and... It's good! It gets received.
Oh.
And now this means Tarzan Tim with the broken legs, just like Tiny Tim in that story. It's a Christmas miracle and an early score for Red Hides the Blood.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see now how the rest of the second half pans out. It shouldn't be too difficult for the Necro to score. Hindus has the tools and player advantage and still the rerolls. So it's really going to have to be a big commitment. And, well, as Skytalon said, we have seen that the Elves have been prepared to throw everything at the problem until something gives, but they haven't quite got the results for it. They've had the ball down twice, but no recovery potential there. So that's really been where the game has fallen off for them a bit.
Well, let's take stock particularly for Caldagum's team, since we've mostly had the Necromantic team remain as it is. Coming into this all-important sort of almost last quarter, we've still got a strip ball tackle war dancer in play. That's still a possibility. In fact, we've got 2 war dancers, one of which with, of course, the insurmountable combo of skills that frightens a grown Blood Bowl player. We've got multiple catchers. Well, 2 catchers. No, 3 catchers. 3 catchers still in commission, who presumably could try for a 1-turn touchdown if the situation allows. So.
And one of those catchers, the one who just scored, is getting rewarded by going on the line of scrimmage.
Yes. Tarzan Tim apparently has outlived their usefulness to the squad because they're being fed to the beast.
Crushed in bludge. Bludge step even. Yeah.
Civilian saying, question now becomes how quickly Caldagum could force Hindi to score. I mean, you're right. That was, I think, a really good thing to bring up for the first half. The ball was getting taken off of Hindi's squad multiple times, and while it wasn't picked up... Oh, okay!
This will make things a bit dicey and interesting.
I think this is amazing.
So, yeah. That's going to make for an entertaining rest of the game, for sure.
Well, I mean, this is incredible for Caldagum, because if either the ball stays on the ghoul, in which case it can be blocked or tackled away, or it goes onto someone who's not going to have sure hands, and therefore will probably end up having to pick the ball up again in the rain, which is quite possibly just going to fail.
Possibly. But it's still going to require some dice, and Caldagum has used one of his rerolls, and that's going to be, if he does have to reroll a pickup, even though it is generally one easier for the Elves than it will be for any of the Necro players, it's going to have to require that there are actually Elf players left on the pitch to do so.
Well, that was as well timed as it could have been, as Llewellyn Thomas is going to take a short nap, KO'd, out of commission, but fortunately is the least effectual of the catches, I suppose, if we discount the minus movement for Tarzan Tim.
I like this line of play from from Hindus right now. He can easily target because the cheap screening players apparently are no longer cheap screening players because he's prioritized putting a guard lineman in the back and sticking a skilled catcher on the line of scrimmage who is, doing the thing. But he's leaving some of his best pieces to the Wolves, and the Necro are really capitalizing by targeting them.
So we've got an open space on the left-hand flank. We've still got the question of does the ball get picked up at this point at all? And it looks to me that Hindi is kind of working as if that's not going to happen by doing all of their moves before the ball pick up.
Yep, double mark with the two Wolves is the safest option. You don't want to be in a situation where the Wood Elves just do some stupid elf BS and leap through and grab the ball and score. But right now they're out of position in terms of distance to the ball, and we see a pickup in the rain, easy peasy, 5+ or 4+, roll a 5.
Okay, so for the time
being,
being...
Sure Hands wasn't even necessary on that pickup, which is another advantage to having Sure Hands normally, but if you roll 5s, no worries.
So that guard piece, Paul Smite Milligan, kept back from before, now committed to provide the assist for Danny Dancer, the War Dancer, who will go in and get a successful hit onto Bad Influence Friends, taking them off the pitch. That's guard and tackle gone in one fell swoop. Will it be regen? It will.
It does regen, but it's still a key piece going for a critical drive, and I don't think Hindus wanted to be forced into scoring early and giving the Elves a chance to have 2 or 3 turns to counter score themselves, which would be a draw, which would be bad for Hindus.
Very bad.
And also another potential to change the weather.
That's true. Yeah, we've definitely got to think about that as well. Particularly with talking about how this, the rain in this case is certainly at this point is more, it's affecting both teams. It's double-sided. But once the ball has been picked up, it's going to affect further on as the dodge is re-rolled. I believe that was, yes, it was with dodge by Matthias Leafy Pine, moving them further close to position.
It'll be interesting to see what. Yeah, well, it'd be interesting to see how much he commits now. Does he needs to keep one back at least? I would keep the War Dancer. I would lean Windy back. Doesn't have tackle, but he at least has some of the other skills that could be sacking the ball, and the catcher being strength 2 isn't the most effective ball sacking safety. And now we do see a failed 2+ with a reroll, so Caldum down to 1 reroll. He's really throwing everything in. I'm not sure he would have made that reroll.
Yeah, I guess looking to try and shut off this side of the pitch somewhat. I wonder, if we are going to see full commitment here, as we've got a catcher with dodge, he's going to make the way through as well.
Boy.
Yeah, this is all barrels for Caldegun.
Yeah.
They're leaving nothing behind.
But if this fails, and there's not enough pressure on the ball, he does have to leave that dancer. No, he's not leaving the dancer back. So there are literally one Paul Spike Milligan is the only standing elf in his own half of the field. They're otherwise all committed forward. Necro aren't necessarily, I think they're famously called the accordion team. They have this odd mix of fast players like the ghouls and the werewolves, and then super slow players like the zombies and the fleshies. So it's very hard to move the whole team in unison. So you do find these fast movements catching up, and then the slow movements contract around the ball. So having most of the elf team inserted between those two, the fast and the slow elements, could cause some problems.
Yeah, there's a pretty good screen setup here by Leafy, Tarzan, and Danny Dancer to keep any extra assistance coming through. There is a small corridor down between the two for players to break through. As it looks like it's going to be Danny Dancer, of course, focused. There's a tackle coming in. We'll put them on the map, but not break the arm.
No AV break there.
That's a 6, need an 8.
And no potential really for a foul there that you would normally be able to see with enough zombies in place and to surround the war dancer and foul that piece off the pitch.
Yes, well, this is something we haven't seen from Hindi, even though they did get the extra player right back at the beginning of the game, managing to steal one of the Callaghan's squad, and now on the pitch. Let's see if we can actually find them. Greed? No. Where are you?
And rather big words from Hindus in the pre-match interview about fouling his entire team off the pitch.
Yes. Oh, there we go. Tommy Shooter Chicks over on the flank right now, so not even in position to foul Danny Dancer. Shameful. Shameful.
Not without some... No. Well, there could be some serious dodging through to do so, but I don't think I've seen that kind of movement from Tommy Shooter to date.
I wouldn't be upset if one day zombies actually had some kind of ability that reflected where they came from originally. Like if they were an elf, they have a certain they've got dodge or AG4 or anything like that, but maybe they've just got something. I don't know.
And it's hidden from both the coach and their opponent.
Even better. All right, the ball moves forward, so this is a big commit for Callaghan to try and get the ball back. May evaporate as soon as it started. That corridor opened up and taken.
We have another anti-leap cage, but this one, of course, is fairly heavily based. But of course, you've got things like flesh golems and scary wolves with sidestep on various sides and corners of the cage, so it's fairly good. And we still have to remember the mystery wizard is still, I suppose, in play, and whether Hindus would want to risk it on offense, I don't think so. I think he's going to save it. Could he go for a quick score himself and trust that the wizard keeps him from not winning?
We've got the thunder going off in the skies indeed. Right now. It's a portent of what's to come. I do notice that behind the ghoul right now, there's a space for Danny Dancer to leap into and get that one dice without, with nothing more really required.
Yeah, there's no guard in there, and the other pieces are all marked up. So yeah, this is a one die. It still requires a dodge out.
Would it? I thought...
No, it doesn't. It's a straight leap into that square. Yeah.
So this is just to touch briefly on the new updated version of the rules. This kind of play will no longer really be anywhere near as practical because you take. Oh wow!
Oh,
first move.
Another failed dodge. I'm not sure why that dodge was necessary or prioritized.
That was. So there was a possibility of rerolling that one, but decided not to go for it.
Well, with one reroll left, he has. I would just like in the first half, I would say he has two priorities for his final reroll. That would be either the Hail Mary Cowabunga leap in to sack the ball to stop this score from happening, or if the score happens and he still hasn't used that reroll, then using it on the one turn.
Alright, so it looks to be like the Necromantic team have got some plans to advance their cage, and they will do so at the expense of lineman Zach Smith. Going to be stunned up. Actually, maybe perhaps take that back. Violent Video Games returning back to their previous position.
Yeah, interesting that they're... Maybe they're happy having the entire high elf, or sorry, a pro elf team. No, sorry, try that again. Wood elf team. There's only 4 elf teams, so I had to get it right one of these days. Based up around them and able to get some pretty sweet removal potential with all of that, and things like frenzy and tackle and guard all around them. So Tarzan Tim survives that, but he's on the floor, limiting his movement.
Well, something we're not seeing from the first half, of course, is because of the removal of one of the guard pieces, Bad Influence Friends, though we are seeing tons of stunts here. There's only one guard on the pitch now for the Necromantic team, so they're not able to cover the ball from both sides as they previously were.
However, this is sort of a classic anti-leap eye cage, so he's really putting the pressure on that there is only one square now. The two side squares on either side are covered by guard, so it's only the back square. And if you cover that off with one more player, it's the same as having a guard there. And now we're finally seeing a good run-up for a foul on the Dancer. Danny Dancer dances no more. Is stunned.
Okay, so, I mean, this turn hasn't been great for Caldegon. There have been now 4 stuns in a single turn, but no players removed permanently, and we are looking towards, an end-of-game state here where Caldegon merely needs to get back the scores. Ooh, Linwindy.
Yeah, but just count the number of elf players who are standing versus the number of Necro players. The Necro have a chance to easily cage up now if miracles don't happen, but with both of the dancers on the floor, we're still going to see a blitz coming around.
No, you do it. Alright, so there we go. 1 reroll remains intact for Caldegon. If both of us haven't lost our minds, Hindi still has the wizard available to be able to snipe off a player with pretty good reliability. I don't know if you were here to see it before, but Hindi, in the most Hindi thing I've ever seen in the whole of the Playins.
I watched that.
Yes, they used their lightning bolt on their own piece in the final turn of the game when they were assured to win, which I've never seen anyone do anything even remotely like that before.
He denies hubris, and then he makes moves like that, which I think, well, who is right? Not him. It's me. I'm right.
So Hunchy, yes. So Hunchy, our 3rd place player, needed for Caldegon to lose by 2 in order to force a tiebreaker situation, which would have been resolved by a friendly with Caldegon themselves for the Challenger Cup spot. With the way the game is going right now, outside of some riots or similar, it's not looking like it's going to be possible for the game to be decided by 2 goals. 2 touchdowns either way.
I think that Hindus had threatened that just to put additional gamesmanship on Caldegon, that he would deny him all of his treats. But I think he's just going to be taking the safe. Oh, and another removal. The safe mover now. But with these additional wood elf removals, do we see a quicker score? Does he accelerate and go for a 3-1?
So that Paul Spike Milligan being here there, that was a guard piece and presumably one of the keys that could have allowed Caldegon back onto that ball carrier, but as it is, an advance for Toilet Humor. There is Magnus Allen Jr., there is Danny Dancer, both, and Frank Sancho. There's a good amount of elves left around the flanks and the back of the necromantic formation.
Just have them to be on their backs.
Yes, that's true. You pointed out before the anti-leaping cage, the eye. Almost looks a bit like a bone, which is certainly on brand for the necromantic team.
Right. And yeah, keeping the guard white in the middle of that cage so that 4 out of the 6 leap positions are covered by guard is... Or there's not 6, of course, there's 5. But 4 out of 5, only the open side is a potential non-guarded position. And with the number of players, his own guard left... but overall, I would say we're not going to see the 3-1, as Hindus has been very conservative. And there's a failed dodge out of tackle. Linwindy, unfortunately, not killing itself.
Even with hubris locking in the 2-1 surely must be on Cindy's mind. Civilian, you'd think so. I mean, that seems to be where we're going. We've got 3 turns left for Hindi to get that next score in. Unfortunately, a foul on to the strip ball tackle war dancer rather, did result in a stun without even a send-off. So not great news. That's pretty.
Another failed. Yeah, I would say that Hindus talks a big game, but much of it is talk. With the puff and pass accepted, he does tend to play more conservatively than his bravado and hubris might otherwise indicate. He's normally quite a smart player.
Oh boy, yeah, I mean, the floodgates have been opening. Zach Smith with block. The lineman are going to be badly hurt out of here. Of course,
yeah,
we know there's no
I think the most likely scenario here is the elves are going to run away and put all of their eggs in the miracle one-turn basket and save that one remaining reroll for that. The Necro will continue to steamroller their way through the remaining elves, removing as many potential. But I don't even think that a one-turn is that likely, especially if those KOs stay out, including one of the catchers who is a potential scoring threat. But just even manufacturing with so much strength too against so much strength for guard and stand firm, a viable one turn is very difficult.
We've got the advance of the Necromantic squad. How good people turn evil up the right-hand side of the pitch right now, putting them as far away as possible from Danny Dancer, and of course, with Lynn Windy stunned, all leap plays are off the table for multiple turns. At this point, with only 2 turns left for Caldegun to even play, it's going to be another foul. This time, doing the foul dance. The foul dance before you do it.
Oh yeah, and who was it?
It was.
Who was the fouler there?
Tommy Shooter
indeed.
fulfills the prophecy. It happened, and you saw it right here. Oh my gosh!
Except it was the wrong ward answer and the wrong result.
Maybe there's something left of Tommy Chicks there. They couldn't bring themselves to put the boot home to their former teammate, rolling the snake eyes, the least effective foul possible, and also getting themselves sent off. I think that's a beautiful way for Tommy Chicks to pay tribute to their former team.
Yeah, paying tribute. Yeah, that is a respectful way to express that feeling.
Alright, so back up is the War Dancer. So this is Danny Dancer, who is going to be leveling up as a result of this game. But with only 2 more turns left for both coaches.
Toilet humor, the ghoul has already scored the 1 touchdown that got him his next level. Oh, a Spite Lightning Bolt on Danny Dancer. Spitning Bolt. That is now a thing. Which guarantees... pretty much guarantees the score, except that we still have the worst ward answer of all time. Not of all time. I've seen worse. Lynn Windy.
That's a very fake praise you're damning him with there.
I've seen a kick ward answer.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Impressive. For Hindi, though, it's looking like pretty much a formality here. It's securing the playoff spot. All the elves have crumbled. Punchy TV's hopes of a 2-0 victory here. It's very unfortunate for them, I suppose, because this is, the combination of things where they would get the closest to getting into the Challenger Cup, but still be denied.
And of course, what I've completely forgotten is that there is really no one-turn score chance if Hindus just does the entirely smart thing and scores on turn 16, because of course this was the Wood Elf drive. So bad commentating on my part.
Hey man, it's all about learning.
What
we've learned today is that Wood Elves. I'm kind of curious. I mean, we've had this discussion with the coaches afterwards, assuming that both of them are... I imagine Hindy's going to be willing to talk to us. I don't know if Callion will go over to take some time
Hindus will be too busy doing his puffin dance, I think.
That's true. Well, we'll have to see if they've got anything to say afterwards, but... I mean, looking at this game overall...
Okay.
I think that was a foul, or...
Yeah, I would imagine that would be a foul, but now perhaps not. I don't know.
Oh,
No, he was
okay.
just keeping him. He was just keeping him locked in. That's fine.
Okay, so trying to make it so that if I'm trying to... So
Well, there's
in
no
terms-
easy dodge and then leap, and then there's also a GFI involved.
Yeah, with no rerolls at all. I mean, at this point, you've got very little to lose giving it a try, at least, as it's going to be dodging into 3... No, wait. Okay.
No, just taking off the guard corner and forcing them to clear that off, but it's a fairly easy piece to clear off because it's not one of the side steppers. Oh, he's going to bring in the Tarzan to... Yeah, he's going to bring in Tarzan to put sidestep and diving tackle on the ball.
Okay, in terms of things that have any possibility of working, that's actually not terrible.
No, it's not terrible. It makes Hindus forced to roll dice. His tackle piece is going to have to dodge out, and we see a leap through to screen off a couple other players, but it's also not that difficult to fill in. Oh, there we go. Well, so some of the squares that needed to be filled in have actually now been filled by the war dancer.
Could this
And
be...
is there a push play to just push everything off the ball? Yeah, you can just bring the white around and then push through with, and then bring the zombie back desperation for the other corner. And then you can just push off both the war dancer, except he has sidestep, but that won't matter so much. He can only, if at that point he could really only sidestep into the other sidestep player. With that much sidestep, you can't really do the push play so easily. No, it's just gonna be
it's no good.
1 in 9. Can't re-roll that.
That's going to mean the blitz has to be burned.
He's gonna have to get this through, otherwise suddenly Hindus is in a bit of trouble with that maneuver, which was quite good from Kaldegum.
If this, so if Bad Play's working blitzes him, he'd have to sidestep here, presumably, and then would then have to sidestep. He could not sidestep and stay next to the player.
Yeah, he basically has to fill the spot in front, either with that being the blitz, the position from where the blitz comes from, but he also needs to bring the zombie desperation down now above the catcher, or below the catcher in your position.
Civilian thinks that Kaldegum still has the will to win, and by that we mean draw, because that's still a win.
Yeah. But that's it's certainly asked some questions of Hindus, whether he can. Now the dodge out isn't terrible, but it's still only Agi 3, so it's very risky against. I would be prioritizing clearing that off.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever you do here, you're looking at rolling 2 dice.
And potentially shadowing, entering,
Yes!
And completely messing up my entire shtick.
That's the thing. You just didn't understand before this game how important shadowing was.
How deep the shadowing game goes. Interesting that he's coming down to that side.
Okay.
He's going to hand off. Yeah, he's going to hand off.
Really?
In the rain.
It fails. Reroll. It succeeds. And with that, the path to the playoffs is paved in a wood elven blood. Oh my gosh, that was
chancy. That became a lot riskier than it probably should have
done.
I don't know. I'd have to analyze that a lot. I'm sure he just made the right play.
Well, I suppose it did avoid getting shadowing sidestepped.
Yeah, exactly. Because you had both shadowing and diving tackle, both with sidestep on the ball. You could have closed most of those squares off for one of them, but not for both.
Well, Betrayal getting the MVP for their role in that final play of the game. Tarzan Tim, cruel irony. with broken kneecaps will receive. Well, I guess. Well, before we go to the coaches, any thoughts for the stream on what we just saw?
No, I think that was how I imagined, by and large, the game to go. Big removals early on, important removals all across the scope of the game. The WElves throwing everything they had into it with the pieces they had at their disposal, especially with the leap. But Hindis being a smart enough coach to always almost construct his cage in a way that he had an anti-leap cage and guard in all the right places. Really, I think that was the key to his not hubris play, but just slow, steady, sensible, very German play.
All right, we're gonna see if Caldegum. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to our coaches now that Hindis has made it through, and Caldegum is in the Challenger Cup. So we'll talk to Caldegum first, and then to Hindo afterwards. We're gonna switch over now. And guys, what a game! We'd like to. I know Hindis, you've probably got a lot to say, but we'd like to talk to Caldegum first.
Okay.
So
let's congratulate Hindis first.
Hindis
Okay.
played better. Hindis played better. He deserved the win.
So, Caldegum, you're now going into the Challenger Cup. I'm kind of curious, did that game go the way you expected?
Honestly, I was backing myself right up until about midday today, when I was thinking, actually, nah, I got cold feet. So, yes, let's go with the yes. I expect absolutely. I got knocked off I got two injuries on the line, 2 deaths on the line. Used my Apo, and I instantly regretted it because that was a bad move. But so I spooked myself from the very beginning. Mentally, Kenny didn't need to play any mental games.
You already played them on yourself.
I mental gamed myself. But yeah, after I got my focus back, I was able to at least do okay. But I was downhill. It was downhill. Hindi did what he needed to do. That was a very difficult 2-turn touchdown attempt for me at the start of the second half. If I succeeded my 1-turn attempt, which I should have, but I bottled it in multiple ways, I'd be happy with it. I would have been fine, but the fact that is I just misplayed, so he deserves the win. He deserves to be going through to the playoffs.
I would like to just point out for you as some kind of salve to that wound. The chat was pretty behind you. I think your friend, I presume it's your friend.
Nick, Spartan, and Frazzle Dazzle, names that you already mentioned. Yeah, they're a couple of my mates.
Yes, they were fully behind you, but you also managed to win over a civilian who, said,
he is also one of my mates.
Okay. Well, we put it quite well.
The chat.
You maintained the will to win to the end, so I think you've got their respect still, if nothing else.
Yeah, cheers guys for showing up. Thanks to Cranky Goblin for sharing the thing on our little group thing. So yeah, but yeah, it was never good. It was after I lost focus from the beginning. I knew it was a bit of an uphill struggle, and just played better. He just played better. I think he only used 2 rerolls in that entire game, so that just shows you something. I used all 8 of my rerolls that I accrued throughout the game.
Okay, well, Kaneki, did you have anything which you'd like to ask Caldegum before we move on to our Playins Division A champion?
I would like to ask what you will get Lin Windy as his next skill.
Well, the size of Shadowing one that didn't level up today.
The one that didn't level up today, yeah.
The one that did level up today. His next skill would be tackle.
A smart skill choice. Wow, impressive. All right.
There's been a little bit of shaping thrown, just so you know.
Shadowing would have done could have done a thing if I was able to.
Yeah, I would have been forced to eat my words. I must have been at the end if Shadowing had somehow won you the draw at the end there.
If I had one more movement, Shadowing could have been useful, but because of me not being able to block down the zombie, and instead of needing to block down that werewolf to push away the werewolf to get tackle zones on the ball, if I was able to get Shadowing where I would have wanted it, I would have been able to make it a good, but I had to use my leap to get out. So instead of using the leap to get in behind the wolf.
But now that you've gone the route of the Shadowing, why not just go full diving tackle?
Tackle first, because diving tackle is also very good, but tackle will level up faster than diving tackle.
I would agree with that. Okay.
All right. Yeah, well, still, congratulations, Caligon. You make it through Chandler's Cup. That's not nothing.
Yeah, to my understanding, it's nothing to be sniffed at. So, we'll see what happens.
Well, you made it through with your team pretty much intact as well. Like, I mean, admittedly there were those deaths, but it wasn't. You've got your war dancers, and also you've even taken the time to donate a player to Hindus as well. So
well, it's for the cause, I guess. If Hindus wins the whole thing, I can say, that's my player. Tommy Shooter Chicks is on there.
There you go. All right. Well, this is a good chance, I need to switch across to our Playins Division 8 champion. Hindus, you said you would do it, and you did. How are you feeling right now?
I mean, first of all, commiserations to poor Huan. She was hoping for me to win this one with more than one touchdown, but
not to me.
Caldegum did well. He even got a little too close to that draw than I'd have liked.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm quite happy with myself. Yeah, despite handicapping myself, I got first, so good job me, I suppose.
That is some ridiculous hubris, and I'm the elf player.
Oh my god.
So Hindus, can I ask you a question? What you were thinking about your choices after he had marked your ball carrier Ghoul in the last turn with both a sidestep diving tackle player and a sidestep surprise shadowing player?
I mean, I had most of my options to blitz marked up, so I knew it was pretty much gonna come down to the handoffs, which of course it was raining, so it was a 4+, since the kickoff events were out to haunt me this game. But, I tried to get a POW with the white, which didn't quite work out, and then it came down to the handoff.
Yep. Well played.
At least I didn't see a better play there, but
I could see that play.
I was trusting that you would have found a better play than I could have seen, and I couldn't see a good blitz that would have made that. Other than, I was trying to think of if you had brought the desperation, well-named play zombie down to block the top spot, whether that would have cleared off it would have cleared off potentially the catcher with diving tackle, but still wouldn't have done anything about the shadowing potential.
Yeah. I mean, Indy's got an interesting level up decision to make.
yeah, my Ghoul rolled a double. So
Oh, really?
that's a tough one. You know, if I had blocked first, I probably would have just given him guard, but with sure hands first, kind of wants block. And
I'm not making
short term, for the playoffs run, block is probably definitely the best option. Long term, double of course could be interesting, but
Mighty blow dodge all the way.
I'm not going to make any excuses, but I was a bit distracted by the fact that all of my players' clothes were disappearing during the game, so I only saw their heads floating on the cards.
Wow.
Oh, well, nudity, the oldest defense.
That wasn't nudity because they were invisible. It wasn't skin, it was invisible. And it's like, I think if skin would have been less unnerving, to be honest.
it is a known bug that tends to happen, but you know, in the moment there isn't anything I can do. I'm not even sure if dropping out and then rejoining actually helps. I don't think so.
Yeah. Sorry, no, please fix. It was my team. It was my team. in the game, but now looking at your team's the one with invisible skins.
Oh, how weird. Alright, we need to wrap this thing up though. So, for Hindus, as you head into the playoffs, could you give us a prediction? How far are you gonna get?
Well, so far my track record with getting out of the round of 61 isn't too great, only 1 in 3. But, you know, the team has everything it needs. It heavily depends on the draw. If I get a full-on murder guard team, then If I get an elf team, I think I have decent shots, so hard to say without the draw. Goal would be the round of 16, but we'll see.
All right.
Guess we'll find out Sunday when the draw is made, and good luck to both of you guys in your playoff and Champions Challengers Cup, respectively.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's all we're going to have time for here. So I believe, Kanuki, thank you for joining me on commentary today. I believe you had a stream you wanted to plug for tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be resolving with a little less positive potential odds for myself the Playins C division tomorrow against Eliod at 1200 UTC, so that's 1 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Finnish time, which is the preferred time zone of everyone, of course.
You need more confidence. If you just think you've lost in your head, then you've already lost.
Oh, man.
Where can people go to view the stream?
So I'm sure, I'm 99.99% sure that Eliod will be streaming it on his own Twitch channel. I will not, which is twitch.tv/user/Eliod. Look it up. It'll be...
You don't know
I think I'm already following him.
If people go follow him...
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, you posted it in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, so if everyone goes and... Well, if you up for some more Blood Bowl tomorrow, do go follow Eliod. And then hopefully at 1 o'clock tomorrow you'll get to see Kanuki taking to the pitch themselves and hopefully getting shadowed and sidestepped. Who knows?
I've got the sidestep.
Oh, there you go. You're just one shadowing away.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, cheers guys. That's going to be it for us now. Again, congratulations to Hindus for making it through to the playoffs. Carry our hopes from Playins Division A all the way through to the very top. But for now, we'll say goodnight and hopefully catch you